Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode today where I'm going to discuss on Chelsea talks. I'm going to discuss about the transfers, the first game week today, and today there's a lot to cover. So I hope you enjoy, stay here, and do enjoy the show and keep putting your opinions here because you are the only people this channel keeps on going. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आकृत भाई here and apologies to आकृत भाई थोड़ा सा लेट हो गया मैं एक चेंज कर रहा था क्योंकि अभी अभी चेल्सी की न्यूज आई थी तो मैंने आई वाज जस्ट पुटिंग इट इन द प्रेजेंटेशन. That's the only reason I got late by 2 minutes because I was putting the new news in the presentation, the news that has just come latest. So therefore, I was a bit late, and I apologize to everyone for that. And starting off with the show today, and the first topic that I'm going to discuss today, I think it's Cucurella to Chelsea. I think this is the thing that's going on, and every day we have a new latest news. We have a new twist in the regards. And coming on to the Cucurella news here, and this is the news that Cucurella has here. Have you can see on the screen up front that the Athletic understand that the reported fee for Cucurella at around reported for 52.5 million falls below Brighton's asking price. There's also no agreement in place for Libby Colwill. Now, yesterday we got a here we go from Fabrizio Romano, who said that Chelsea have signed Cucurella and Colwill will be going part of the another deal. There were also some things coming that Colwill will be signed for 20-25 million, and Chelsea will put a buyback clause of double the price. So let's say they sign Colwill for 25 million. Chelsea will put a buyback clause of 50 million. That was the news that was coming out yesterday. But suddenly, Brighton came out with a statement that all the media rumors coming out are not true and there's no real agreement with Cucurella. So Athletic at the moment are the only ones that have gone against Fabrizio and said that there's no agreement in place. As per them, at the moment, the deal is in no way going to happen. And they are saying that until and unless the Levy Colwill part is solved, the deal is not going to happen here. It's a really good deal. I do agree, Akrit Bhai, that the deal is a very, very good deal, especially for 52 million and Colville going for 25, 26 million, and also a buyback clause which allows us to buy him back for 45 to 50 million. I think it's a very good deal, Akrit Bhai, because we let Levy Colville go for 25 million, let him develop at Brighton on a permanent deal. Because I think everyone will agree that when a player goes on loan, a lot of times they're not played up to the potential because the club is afraid that they've only come for a short time. So they don't want to be a feeder club for Chelsea and develop players for the other clubs. That is why loan deal is always tricky. So at the moment, Chelsea have done a very good job, in my opinion, where we let Levy Colwill go and get a 25 million for him. If Levy Colwill becomes the player we know, we pay double the price and 50 for him, rather than the mistakes we made with Kevin De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah, and all that stuff. So I think this is a good deal, but at the moment, there's a lot of ground to be covered. I think at the moment, the people are not understanding that if Levy Colwill refuses the move, then what? If Levy Colwill says, I don't want to go to Brighton, I have moved with Leicester as well, I'm more interested in Leicester, then what you'll do? So this deal is still at the moment very, very complicated. As you can see on the screens, the Athletic understand that the reported fee of 52.5 is below what Brighton want. Now, Brighton are also playing a lot of tricks. They wanted 50 from City, and then Chelsea paid the 50, and now they're just trying to create a lot of trouble. I think at the moment, for me, Brighton are waiting for a bidding war or Brighton want a player in exchange. In reality, Brighton are more than happy for a 50 million price. The only thing is Brighton want to sign Levy Colwill and they don't want a buyback clause to be put in his contract. That's the thing that Chelsea have to agree on. And I will say one thing to everyone that if Chelsea are not able to sell Levy Colwill to Brighton, this deal might just be off for Chelsea. That is the thing I think Chelsea should be confirmed and a bit concerned about. And Levy Colwill is a big factor of deciding will Cucurella sign for Chelsea or not. If Levy Colwill deals falls off with Brighton, Chelsea deal falls off for Cucurella, and then Chelsea are back to square one. So this is why this deal is very, very important. And on my final thoughts on the Cucurella deal, before we go to other parts, is Cucurella at the moment you can say is more like a Chelsea player, but it's a signing which can fall off at the last moment. This can literally drag for 1 or 2 weeks more because it depends a lot on the other party. Other party, for me, I do not mean Brighton. The other party, I do not mean Chelsea. It depends a lot on Levy Colwill. Levy Colwill refuses a move to Brighton, the whole deal will fall off. If Levy Colwill accepts the move to Brighton, the deal will go through. This is the thing I think Chelsea have to accept and Chelsea will have to be more concerned about. That at the moment, Levy Colwill is the one which could decide the deal. Brighton, for me, are just going door after door. Sometimes they are saying we'll accept 50 million. Sometimes they're saying that's not enough. Sometimes they're saying we need a player. Sometimes they're saying we need an amount. I think overall, let's be brutally honest, they want a player and they want the 50 million. In reality, the only reason Brighton are really, you can say, slowing down this deal is because they do not want to insert a buyback clause. They see Levy Colwill as a very talented player, and they don't want to sell him for double the price while they can even make triple or 4-1, like they done with Cucurella, like they done with Ben White. That's the thing I think Brighton are concerned for. And Brighton are such a good selling club, and I think that is the only thing that is putting this deal away. And if Chelsea and Brighton come on a good note and agree on a bit of deal, agree on a bit of price, and agree on the Levy Colwill buyback clause, I think Cucurella will certainly join Chelsea and might be available for the second game of the season. That's the only reason Cucurella has still not been confirmed by Chelsea, and that's the only reason that the deal is at the moment at a very, very slow stage. Moving on towards the next news today, and the next news is about just for you all. Second news is about Fofana to Chelsea. So we all know that Fofana for the whole summer has been linked to Chelsea, and Chelsea at the moment are going very aggressively for him, trying their best for him. And Fofana at the moment has been heavily linked with Chelsea from starting the talks where everyone was surprised with the Fofana links from 80 million, 85 million, 70 million. The Fofana part has really been stunning everyone. As per Fabrizio Romano, who is one of the most reliable journalists I think people can even think of, Chelsea have submitted 60 million proposal for Wesley Fofana, confirmed as advance by El Equipe. Bid has been turned down by Leicester as they insist on not for sale stance. Being told Chelsea are preparing another approach, they want to move for Fofana and he wants the move. Now, I've told you in the previous video as well for the people that have watched that Fofana is trying his best to move out of Leicester. He's removing Leicester from his bio. He's also putting some cryptic messages on Instagram. He's doing a whole lot of stuff, which is trying to do his best to get away from Leicester. Now, Leicester City this summer, if people know, have not signed anyone. And Leicester this summer are very dependent on the sale money so they can sign someone. This year, Leicester are very dependent to rebuild the squad. And to rebuild the squad, they need some money from selling the players. Now, Maddison has been heavily linked with Newcastle United. Harvey Barnes, some say, have been linked by him to Newcastle United. A lot of other Leicester players, Kasper Schmeichel is left, but just for 1 million. So Leicester do need a lot of big rebuild, and a lot of their players are being linked to other clubs. Now, we all know that Yuri Tielemans is also linked to Arsenal. He's also linked to even Manchester United. If De Jong move falls off, if Arsenal are concerned about the injury news of Thomas Partey. So at the moment, a lot of falls in here, and I don't know why, but I don't think Fofana is worth 60 million euro. I agree, आकिब भाई, मैं आपसे बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ आकिब भाई. I don't think he's 60 million worth. मेरे को खुद नहीं agree करता मैं कि वो 60 million worth है किसी एंगल से, but sadly today's market is like that. रिचार्लिसन भी मेरे ख्याल से 60 million वर्थ नहीं था. मैं ये भी कहूंगा कि चेल्सी ने जैसे अभी जो प्लेयर साइन करे, शायद जो आजकल के प्लेयर्स को आपको पे करना पड़ता है 70 million 80 million, वो भी वर्थ नहीं है. आजकल के प्राइस बहुत ओवरली ऊपर जा रहे हैं, जितने नहीं होने चाहिए. आजकल के रेट्स है कि अगर आपको एक एवरेज प्लेयर भी चाहिए, आपको 30 मिलियन शेल आउट करने पड़ेंगे. तो अगर फुफाना जैसा एक अच्छा प्लेयर आपको लेना है तो आपको 60 मिलियन देने ही पड़ेंगे. एंड यहीं पे फुफाना अगर ऐसे प्लेयर होते हैं जो प्रीमियर लीग में 3 या 4 साल खेल चुके होते और कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भी उनका 3 या 4 साल का रहता, कहीं ना कहीं चेल्सी विल हैव टू साइन यू फॉर 90 मिलियन 100 मिलियन. So today's market is very, very bad, and sadly you have to pay big money to get the big players. All is because of Neymar deal back then. I agree, sir, but it's also because of the Premier League money. It's just not because of the Neymar deal, sir. It's also because of the Premier League money that's been coming on for a long, long time. I think Premier League clubs nowadays don't have to sell to the bigger things. Like previously, Chelsea used to take a lot of players from the bottom clubs, and they used to pay, you can say, simple price for that because a lot of players wanted to come to Chelsea. Earlier, a lot of Premier League clubs like United, Chelsea, City, Liverpool used to poach players from the bottom clubs and used to get them at a very, very cheap price. Nowadays, that's not the case. Premier League clubs earn a lot of money by just finishing 19th. Premier League clubs earn a great, great revenue, even as compared to Serie A. People will be stunned that the Premier League, the team in the Premier League that finishes bottom earns more money than the Serie A champions. You agree? Serie A champions earn less money than a team that finishes 20th in the Premier League. That's the power of the Premier League. And this is why a lot of the clubs are not forced in the conversation. They say, you're Chelsea, okay, pay us the money 80 million or we are not selling you the player. That is the case right now with the way deals are going on. And this is why, Akrit bhai, you have to pay the big prices for the big players today. Fofana is a very good player, and getting him for 60 million today might be cheap. Because if Fofana plays one more year and we go for him, he might even cost 80, he might even cost 90. That's the market of today. And there's another question by Jose Mario Bartomeu. Can Chelsea perform in cup competition? Sir, we are more of a better cup competition team. I'm more confident about Chelsea in cups as compared to I'm concerned about Chelsea in the league. I think in terms of the starting 11 we have got, it's a very, very good 11 that we have got right now. I think if you get Cucurella in there, if you get Fofana in there, The defense of Fofana, Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, Edward Mendy in the keeper. You can see Cucurella at the left wing back, right wing back Reece James, Jorginho Kante in the middle, and then the front three of Mount, Havertz, Sterling that on their day are capable of beating anyone. But the problem with the Chelsea lineup has always been consistency. Havertz consistently cannot produce 20 goals. Mount consistently cannot produce 20 goals. Sterling has to carry the whole burden, which he never did at City. And that's why the Chelsea have a problem that at the moment, there's no consistency in the team. And out of topic, but please answer. I'm forgetting the name. What is the name of Chelsea Academy? Cobham. Cobham, sir. Cobham is the name of Chelsea Academy. And Chelsea in cup competition, different breed. I agree, sir. Chelsea in cup competitions can beat anyone, and not just on their day. We can even beat anyone consistently. We were this close to knock Real Madrid out after being 3-1 down on aggregate. The only problem with Chelsea that I think people will agree is consistency, and that's the only problem. But Liverpool ke against now final. I think I don't want to be reminded Akrit by वो तो like बहुत दुख देता है. That final still gives me a lot of pain. And Liverpool just, you can say, got the better of us last year a lot of times. And no more penalty shootouts. Absolutely, absolutely. I don't want another penalty shootouts. So coming straight to the news, a lot of been talked about Fofana and Cucurella. Going on towards the next news, and that's Chelsea have confirmed the signing of Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka has been confirmed as a Chelsea player. Kani Chukwuemeka has just signed the terms of 6-year contract at Chelsea and completed his transfer to Chelsea. It's around 15 million plus 5 million is add-ons. For me, that's not even the best part of this deal. It's a good deal, and Chelsea have confirmed the signing of Chukwuemeka from Aston Villa. The biggest part of the deal is the next slide, which I'm going to show you. And the next slide is that Todd Boehly confirms, I'm just going to remove this banner so you can see it. And Todd Boehly confirms that Kani Chukwuemeka will stay at Chelsea, no loan move. He's one of the most exciting young players in Europe. We are delighted to add him to such a talented young individual to our squad for next season and beyond. This should give you a statement that Chelsea are keeping Chukwuemeka for a long term. This is a thing that's really stunned me, because I'm being very honest with everyone in the chat and people watching, that I was thinking that he will go out on loan. He might be signed and then sent back on loan. I think this is a big statement that Chelsea are keeping him in the squad, and that shows that why Chelsea signed him. For me, when we signed Slonina, I also thought that Slonina might be coming to go back on loan again. Now with Kepa being linked with Napoli, Slonina looks like the Chelsea next second goalkeeper. And Chukwuemeka might also be Chelsea midfield option next season. And therefore, it's a very surprise deal, but also shows how Chelsea are working. And at the moment, you do not even know what to predict of Chelsea. That's the way Chelsea transfer window has worked this season. And that's the way it's been always this season. So on the news so far at the moment, if again I can summarize the news for you so far, Chelsea at the moment, first deal today was Cucurella. Cucurella at the moment, as I told you at the start of the video, Colwill is going to be the one who's going to decide the future of Chelsea and Cucurella. If Colwill does not agree to the Brighton move, the deal will fall off. If Colwill agrees to the Brighton move, the deal will go through. Another spiner in the deal is Brighton do not want to put a buyback clause in Colwill, while Chelsea are insistent that a buyback clause must be put so that we are not in a situation where we are embarrassed like we were in Tomori. So that's the only problem that at the moment is going on. And if Levy Colwill problem is not solved, sadly, this deal is going to fall off for Chelsea. The second news that I discussed with you all today is Fofana to Chelsea. So Chelsea at the moment have submitted a 60 million offer, but the only problem is Leicester are holding out for 75 to 80 million. For me, the news that was coming out is Chelsea will try to go in the middle. Not say 70, not 80, not 60. Chelsea will want to pay 70 million. Now, Leicester at the moment are very adamant. Leicester want to receive 80 million for Fofana. Chelsea want to pay 60. And at the moment, there's a 20 million price gap between what two teams need. And at the moment, I think we'll agree Fofana deal. And I think it will be agreed around 66, 65 million plus add-ons. But at the moment, the deal is dragging on. And this can still drag on for the next 2 weeks at least. Going on to the next news of Chelsea today. And Chukwuemeka has been confirmed as a Chelsea player for a 6-year contract. He signed for 15 million and 5 million have been add-ons. The biggest surprise and the more biggest surprise that I think you all did not expect coming today was Todd Boehly confirming that they haven't signed this young prospect just to go on loan again. They've signed him to be part of the squad. That's one of the biggest surprises that even I thought that we'll get today. And Chukwuemeka is signed for Chelsea to be part of the squad and to develop along with the team. And that's a very good news when it comes to the young player. Now, this was all about the news of Chelsea. Going on towards the first game of the season, and that's against Everton at Goodison Park. Now it's time to preview a game against Everton at Goodison Park this Saturday, a very important game for different structures. Everton are everyone's favorite right now to be surprise relegation candidates because the way their transfer window is going. Chelsea for everyone is a team that at the moment have not impressed in the transfer window. A lot of the work is not being done, and everybody is predicting Chelsea to be out of top four. So this is a match of statement. Which team is going to make the statement? Which team is going to start the season? This is why this game is important. And starting off with the first slide for you all, and this is the first slide of the game. The game will be live on Saturday. It will be around 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time and 5:30 UK time at a ground that Chelsea don't like to visit in Goodison. The second part I'm going to show you is what Everton have done this window. So these have been the arrivals and departure of Everton this season. Everton have signed Dwight McNeil. They have signed James Tarkowski on free. They have signed Ruben Vinagre. They have signed Gabamin. They have signed Virginia, and they have signed Nkunku. For me, McNeil, Tarkowski, and Vinagre are more important deals. While Richarlison is a big blow for them, John Kenny, the right wing back, has left. Brentford has gone back on loan. Onyunga has gone to loan, and Virginia was signed and sent back on loan. So Everton at the moment, you can see the main arrivals for them have been McNeil, a left wing back who can even play on the wings. He even play as an inside forward. And Everton's another main arrival has been Tarkowski, who even Frank Lampard wanted at Chelsea. Now, everyone will know that Frank Lampard wanted Tarkowski with Chelsea along with Chilwell. So Tarkowski is a player that Frank always admired, and finally he has got him at Everton for free. The another important transfer that Everton have done is Vinagre, who used to be a previous Wolves player. While the departures, for me, Richarlison is a big departure for them, and Jong Kenny was a player that really deceived to impress. Going on towards the next slide, and the next slide is about Chelsea arrivals and departures. With Chelsea, we all know that Chelsea have signed Kalidou Koulibaly, we have signed Raheem Sterling, we have signed Slonina, we have signed Chukwuemeka, and we are closing in on signing Cucurella. Now, departures for Chelsea have been Christensen has left on free, Rudiger has left on free, Lukaku has left on loan, James Cumming has gone for loan, a goalkeeper for Chelsea. Colwill at the moment is not confirmed, but it looks like he might go to Brighton. Sarr is looking like he might go to Monaco. Alonso at the moment has been linked to Barcelona. Azpilicueta has been linked to Barcelona. Hakim Ziyech has been linked to AC Milan. And Werner has been linked to Leipzig. So if you see Chelsea right now, we have a lot of uncertainty in our team. We have got two new signings in Koulibaly and Sterling. Chukwuemeka is a young player who still might not be involved in the first some game of the season. And Slonina is going to be a backup goalkeeper. So Chelsea at the moment, you can say, at the moment in terms of signing, we have signed two proper players in form of Koulibaly and Sterling. The departures at the moment is putting more concern, and Thomas Tuchel was very adamant in his pre-season conference. He said that at the moment, a lot of players' future in a team is not decided, and we are a team where some players want to leave at the moment. And Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner, other players who are unhappy and want to leave. You can also add players like Kepa Arrizabalaga. You can even add Christian Pulisic, who wants more game time. And you can even add players like Christensen, Rudiger, who have left, Lukaku, who has left, Sarr, whose status is unconfirmed, Colwill, whose status is unconfirmed, Aspi and Alonso, who are really linked with Barcelona, and Barcelona moving heavily for them. So Chelsea at the moment in these terms are at the moment very uncertain. And that's the problem for Chelsea. And this is why Chelsea is everyone's favorite right now to miss on top four. Not for me, but a lot of people. Going on towards the next slide, people, and that's Everton injury news. Everton have massive problems on their hand. Andres Townsend is out and he's going to miss the Chelsea game. Calvert-Lewin suffered an injury and will be out for the Chelsea game. Seamus Coleman will also miss the Chelsea game. Asmir Begovic, who is a former Chelsea player, will also miss this game. Now, Begovic is not a big concern because they have a goalkeeper in former Pickford. Coleman is a big concern because Seamus Coleman is a big part of the team, and a young Nathan Patterson will be playing instead of him. So how does a young player play against Chelsea? I think that's going to be a big part that's going to decide how they're going to play. Nathan Patterson, I think, is going to be a big part, and let's see how Nathan Patterson plays. Calvert-Lewin is a massive injury, which I think they got at a very wrong time. Getting that injury is very scary for them, and for me, that injury towards Calvert-Lewin is going to even decrease their striking option. Who do they play as a striker? Do they play Dele Alli as a striker? Do they play Rondon as a striker? Who do they play as a striker? And for me, that's a massive concern for me in terms of what they require and what they need. And along with that, Andres Townsend is a massive miss because Andres Townsend from the wings is a very important player, and Andres Townsend can do a very good job, especially in the bigger games. Going on towards the next information for you all, and the next information is regarding Chelsea. Now, Chelsea at the moment have no recent injury concerns. Chelsea at the moment, we have no any recent concerns, and at the moment, we are very good in that department. But the problem with Chelsea, as I told you people earlier, is a lot of players' future are uncertain for Chelsea, and a lot of players' future are still to be decided. I told you, Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner, even Pulisic is unhappy. You go towards Pulisic, and after that, you have more unhappy players in form of Alonso. Aspi is really, you can say, flirting with Barcelona as well. So Chelsea have some big problems on their hand, and Chelsea do need to solve this problem if you want to get this season start. Because this is the problem for Chelsea, and Chelsea have no recent injury concerns, but you all know we have a lot of problem when it comes to involvement of a lot of players, and a lot of players, you can say, loyalty is to be doubted, and how are they going to play in the season? And let's be honest, if Timo Werner wants to go to Leipzig, if Hakim Ziyech wants to leave Chelsea, if a lot of players want to leave Chelsea, how do you know that they're going to perform well in the first game of the season? Timo Werner is very close to go to Leipzig. Hakim Ziyech is close. Alonso Aspi are close to Barcelona. How are you even certain that these players are going to play with utmost professionalism at the first game? And that's the concern for Chelsea. And that might be a big difference that Thomas Tuchel was considering. And until and unless a transfer window is solved, I think we might have to play some unhappy players or players who might be leaving Chelsea. Going on towards the next slide for you all. And the next slide for you all is Chelsea's record at Goodison Park. And my God, this record is bad. This record is absolutely horrific what we've got at Everton. Just showing you this record here and removing the banner. Last 10 games in the Premier League for Chelsea against Everton. My God, guys, it's been disgusting. Last 10 games, there have been 6 wins for Everton, 1 draw and 3 wins for Chelsea. The last 10 results has on the screen have been Everton 1, Chelsea 0, where last season Richarlison scored a goal. Everton 1, Chelsea 0, where they won against us with a penalty through Calvert-Lewin. Then it was Everton 3, Chelsea 1 under Frank Lampard, where Kovacic scored an absolute blinder. Then it was Everton 2, Chelsea 0 under Maurizio Sarri. Then it was Everton 0, Chelsea 0 under Conte. Then it was Everton 0, Chelsea 3, where Chelsea gone on and won the Premier League. Then you also had in form of Everton 3, Chelsea 1, when we were absolutely destroyed by them in the Jose Mourinho's collapse season. Then it was Everton 3, Chelsea 6, where we absolutely destroyed them and we were the Premier League winners, if everyone remembers. Whenever we've beaten Everton in last some years, we have gone on to win the Premier League. And then it was again Everton 1, Chelsea 0, and then again it was Everton 1, Chelsea 2. On the right side of the screen, you can also see 6 wins for Everton, 1 draw and 3 defeats. So coming on towards this match, Everton are a team that have historically disturbed Chelsea a lot. A lot. Everton are a team whose ground we have not liked to visit. In the last some matches we played against Everton, we have lost last 4 games at Goodison, and we have been really struggling at that. In the last 4 games at Goodison, we have only scored 1 goal. In the last 4 games at Goodison, Chelsea have only scored 1 goal. We have lost 1-0, we have lost 1-0, we have lost 2-0, we have lost 3-0. And a lot of times, those matches were important. Under Frank Lampard, when Chelsea were really doing well, and we were around 26 points from 12 league games, that 3-1 defeat threw a spanner towards a season that was going well. Next season, Everton was the start where Chelsea's form slowly dipped. We lost to Everton, Ancelotti side 1-0, and slowly we lost, and sadly Frank was sacked. And then even last year under Thomas Tuchel, we lost to Everton 1-0 by Richarlison goal, where they were in relegation battle. They beat us and they were nearly safe. Everton is a place which has always disturbed us, and also showing you results here, you just see how bad we are here. And whenever Chelsea have beaten Everton, we have become the Premier League winners. Now, not here spoiling everything, but if we beat Everton this year, I'm really shamelessly saying that we are going to win the Premier League. I'm sorry, but shamelessly, I'm going to say that Chelsea are going to win the Premier League. Because for me, whenever we've won in this place, we've always gone on to win the Premier League. And overall, it's a big concern that Chelsea have only won 3 games in the last 10 against Everton. And for me, guys, that is a massive concern. So this is Chelsea record at Goodison Park. Going towards the next slide, people, and this is the likely Everton 11 we might see against us this Saturday. Everton are going to line up with Pickford as a goalkeeper. Now, people will say, why have you picked a 3-4-3 shape? Guys, in the preseason, Everton have been playing a lot of 3-4-3 shape. If you see Everton in the preseason, they have been playing a lot of 3-4-3 shape. And a lot of teams against Chelsea try to sit back with 5 people and try to counter us. So I do expect Everton to go 3-4-3. And with Seamus Coleman injured and with Townsend injured, Calvert-Lewin injured, Everton have no option than to go defensive and play for their lives and attack Chelsea on the counter. So this is going to be Everton likely lineup in my opinion. Pickford is going to be the goalkeeper. Godfrey, Tarkowski and Michael Keane are going to be the defenders. Then it's going to be young Patterson playing at the right wing back. Now that's a bit concern in this deal, and Patterson is going to play instead of Seamus Coleman, who is injured, while John Kenny was sold. So Patterson is going to be at the right wing back and could be an option that Chelsea could target, a young player. Mykolenko is going to be at the left. Now, Iwobi has been a big surprise option. Frank has played Iwobi a lot in the midfield, and it's been a very, very big problem for them, for me, in my opinion. And do you follow any club in La Liga? No, sir, but I do watch La Liga sometimes, and I do admire the way Barcelona and Real Madrid are, and overall, I admire them as clubs. Only Chelsea can face complication in real life. Here we go. That's the thing. This transfer window has been really amazing for Chelsea, and we are the only club for me that face a lot of problems when here we go has happened. So this was about the deal for Everton lineup. And Everton, for me, Iwobi has been a big, big surprise for me, if I'm being very honest with you all people. Iwobi has been a big surprise for me, and Iwobi is a player I never thought could play in a midfield. And then it's going to be Gray, Ali, and Gordon. Now people will say, why do you think Rondon will not start? I think Dele Alli is a player overall historically has done very well against Chelsea. Dele Alli is a very good header of the ball, and Dele Alli is a player who can do very, very well when it comes to being as a false nine. Everton in some preseason matches have played Rondon, and Everton in some preseason matches have played Dele Alli as a false nine. Now, if they play Rondon, they have to play just sit at the back. Rondon will not be able to press Chelsea defense, and Frank Lampard will know very well, because he was a former Chelsea manager, that Chelsea have a 31-year-old Koulibaly, Chelsea have a 38-year-old Thiago Silva, and most probably it will be Azpilicueta, who is another 31, 32-year-old player. And playing a quick player, Dele Alli, who is going to be very clever with his movements, might be a more smart move from Frank Lampard, has come to Rondon. And this is why I do believe Everton are going to play with this lineup. Pickford as a goalkeeper, Godfrey Tarkowski-Keane as a defense, Patterson, Doucouré, Iwobi, and Mykolenko has a midfield four. And then it's going to be Demarai Gray, Dele Alli, and Gordon has a front three. Now, Gordon is a player, I will tell you all, if you play FPL and overall, even as a Chelsea, that do keep an eye on this kid. Under Frank as well, he has developed very, very well. And Gordon overall so far has been very good for Everton. Now going on towards a Chelsea lineup for you all, what lineup we can expect. And for me, we aren't going to see much different for Chelsea. It's going to be Edward Mendy as a goalkeeper. It's going to be Cesar Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly. Because we have no other option bar these three. It's going to be James. It's going to be Jorginho. It's going to be Kante. It's going to be Alonso. Now people will say to me that why Shrey you're picking up Marcus Alonso. But Chilwell at the moment did not take part in the most important preseason match against Udinese front 11. Now, if you remember everyone, we had two matches against Udinese. One was played against a weak Udinese team. One was played with crowd against a strong Udinese team. And Ben Chilwell was preferred for the game behind the doors rather than the match, which was played with more intensity. And I think Ben Chilwell at the moment has not recovered from his injury. People who have watched preseason will know that Ben Chilwell has not looked the player he used to be. And this is why I do believe that Marcus Alonso is going to be the one who is going to start this game. And Koulibaly will eat their attacking line. I agree, sir. I agree. But Dele Alli could be a very good player who can make a very surprising moment. And then with Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, we have no other option because the next option Chelsea have got is Chalobah. And at the moment, Azpi will start over him. James has no fight in the team and nobody can really compete with him. Marcus Alonso is the only option Chelsea have to go with Chilwell's injury concern. Then it's going to be Jorginho and Kante because for me, Jorginho Kante are the pair that suit the team more. I think Kovacic Kante is really caught a lot more defensively. I think Jorginho Kante is the player that Chelsea must go. And then it's going to be Mount, Sterling and Havertz for me. Now, we haven't got a lot of difference to play in this lineup. I'm being very, very honest with you all. I don't think we have a lot to play in this match because we have players that want to leave. We have some players who don't want to be here. Pulisic is unhappy. Hakim Ziyech is unhappy. Timo Werner is unhappy. So this is the only lineup which can really be concentrated and can play well. In attacking department, we have no other option but Mount, Sterling, Havertz. Now, we all know that Chelsea have no striker. People have been talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, Benjamin Sesko. People have been talking about Jamie Vardy. People have been talking about Memphis Depay. People have been talking about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And Chelsea at the moment in striking options are really, you can say, short. So Chelsea in the striking department are short. And we have no other option bar Kai Havertz to play in those matches. Mount is must in this team. Mount is the most important player. And without Mount, for me, the team does not function well. His pressing of the ball, his running, his overall press desire. I think without him, we do not play at that fashion. And Mason Mount is a must for Chelsea. And because Mason Mount is a must, he must start in this game. And along with that is going to be Kai Havertz and Danish Bhai is here. Thank you, Danish Bhai, to be here and hope you are well, Danish Bhai. And we are talking about Everton Chelsea, Danish by here, the first game week preview. And overall, if you see the Chelsea lineup here, we have no other option but Mount, Sterling, Havertz to go in the front three. When we come to the midfield, for me, Jorginho Kante is a better player than either we should go with Kovacic, Jorginho, either we should go with Jorginho Kante. I think that's much better player as compared to Kante Kovacic. For me, the pair of Kante Kovacic is a lot more erratic. It's a lot more erratic because Kante is caught up the field and Kovacic is a ball carrier. And when these two players are caught in the opposition field, I think Chelsea struggle a lot when it comes to defensively. We're exposed to the counter attacks of the opponent, and this is why this does not suit us in any regards. And this is why I'd rather have Jorginho Kante, where Jorginho gets in the right position, helps us play from the back, makes some clever passes, and Kante with his energy wins the ball back and has got the freedom to play near the attack, with sometimes Mason Mount coming near to behind as well. And other players may contribute in other departments, but Kante is better at his position. I agree. And this is why, sir, I do believe that Jorginho Kante is Chelsea's best midfield. Kovacic Kante for me is caught. Either we need to play Kovacic Jorginho or Jorginho Kante. But we also need to remember that Kante is injury prone. Kante cannot play every game of the season. You need to rotate Kante, you need to play a bit of side, rotate, and that's the only way to play for him. Now coming back on the wings. For me, on the wings is going to be Alonso and then it's going to be James. For Reece James, the only competition Chelsea have got right now is Ruben Loftus-Cheek at right wing back. That's it. So therefore, Reece James is a 100% starter. And for me, Reece James will play as a right wing back. So people wanting him in FPL, thinking he might not assist or play as a right centre back, do play him. He's going to be right wing back. Marcus Alonso is a thing that people might say that why am I playing Marcus Alonso as my left wing back? Marcus Alonso for me is going to play because he's more fitter than Chilwell right now. Chilwell is coming after a serious injury and Chilwell has not looked that good in preseason. Now, Marcus Alonso is not like Marcus Alonso has done very well this preseason, or Marcus is better than Chilwell, or Marcus suits a system better than Chilwell. But I want to say one thing to you all people, that Marcus Alonso at the moment is more fit. He's less injury prone. And until and unless his move to Barcelona is confirmed, Marcus Alonso is going to be the player that's going to start for Chelsea in this game. And then going on the defense, and in the defensive side, guys, we've got no other option. We have to play Azpilicueta, we have to play Thiago Silva, we have to play Koulibaly. I have a lot of respect for Chalobah. I think Chalobah is a good young player. I think Chalobah is a player who can really develop to be something good. And Chalobah can really develop himself well. For me, guys, the only concern I've got with Trevor Chalobah is the way he's sometimes caught, the way he's sometimes caught nagging, the way he sometimes makes some sloppy passes, the way he's caught sleeping sometimes and has to make the last ditch tackles. And for me, I'll rather go with the experience of Cesar Azpilicueta in the first game of the season and do not create any negativity, get the result and get away from there. And then be him along with Thiago Silva and experience Koulibaly as well. And then the goalkeeper, we have no other choice but Edward Mendy to go. And Ronit Bhai says, yes, Bhai, I'm an Indian and I'm from Haryana, Bhai. So thank you so much to join the chat, Ronit Bhai. And overall, for me now, for Everton now, I'm going to go again to the record back. And now this is the biggest concern for me, everyone. This record that Chelsea have got at Everton away is one of the most pathetic record you can ever see in your life. And it's one of the things that concerns me a lot, everyone. Chelsea's record is really, really concerning when it comes to playing against Everton. 10 games you played against them, 6 wins for Everton, 1 draw, 3 wins for Chelsea. You can see the results on your screens. 1-0, 1-0, 3-1, 2-0, 2-0, 0-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-6, 1-0, 1-2. So that's a massive, massive concern at the Chelsea. And that's a big concern for Chelsea for me. And the record at Goodison Park is not the right record because it's the first game of the season. And if you lose that, then the negativity will be whole on in the Chelsea community. We all know about Chelsea community and we all know the way we struggle. So that's my concern in that regards. Going on towards another part and the injury news for this team. Sure, भाई मैं हिंदी भी बोल दूंगा बीच में, ऐसा कोई चक्कर नहीं है. तो अगर हम चेल्सी का भी देखेंगे, we'll see the Chelsea lineup. I think Chelsea का भी ये लग रहा है, has been my opinion, कि Chelsea injury problem at the moment is very, very low. A lot of Chelsea players अगर आप देखोगे तो are on the verge of leaving the club and therefore उनकी involvement थोड़ी सी इसमें doubtful भी अगर आप देखोगे properly कि Chelsea की जो involvement है थोड़ी doubtful है क्योंकि Chelsea का injury कम है. Chelsea injury news is a bit less, but Ziyech, Werner, आप कहोगे Aspi, Alonso, ये players Barcelona, कोई player Leipzig and कोई player AC Milan जाना चाहता है and therefore Chelsea are in big trouble in that regards. तो हमको यही 11 खिलानी पड़ेगी because this is the only standard 11 we have got. Bar that, the most players going to leave the club. And Danish Bhai has a chart here. For teams like Chelsea, Arsenal, United fighting for top 4, these teams should try to dominate games against bottom 10 teams. मैं एग्री करता हूँ दानिश भाई, बिल्कुल एग्री करता हूँ कि चेल्सी शुड डोमिनेट गेम्स, बट दानिश भाई चेल्सी, द ओनली प्रॉब्लम दैट चेल्सी हैव गॉट दानिश भाई इज वी नीड विंग बैक्स. हमारा लास्ट ईयर दानिश भाई प्रॉब्लम ये था when Ben Chilwell इंजर्ड हो गया, आपको याद होगा, आई थिंक सबको याद होगा, Ben Chilwell इंजर्ड, रीस जेम्स इंजर्ड, मार्टियो कोवाचिच इंजर्ड, जॉर्जिनियो इंजर्ड, चेल्सी के सडनली गंदे गंदे रिजल्ट आने लगे. वी ड्रू टू ब्राइटन 1-1, देन वी ड्रू अगेंस्ट ब्राइटन अगेन 1-1, फिर हमने वुल्फ से ड्रॉ करा, फिर हमने बीच में वी लॉस्ट टू वेस्ट हैम, उसके बाद भी हम और मैचेस हारते रहे, एवर्टन सी टीम तक को नहीं हरा पाए, लानत है हम पे, एंड दैट्स द वे हमारी इंजरी प्रॉब्लम होगी. चेल्सी एक्सपेंसिव फुटबॉल खेल सकती है, लेकिन चेल्सी तभी एक्सपेंसिव फुटबॉल खेल पाएगी, चेल्सी तभी अच्छा फुटबॉल खेल पाएगी जब चेल्सी के विंग बैक्स होंगे. व्हेन चेल्सी विंग बैक्स विल बी फिट, तभी चेल्सी अच्छी फुटबॉल खेल पाएगी. दैट्स द ओनली वे चेल्सी कैन प्ले गुड फुटबॉल. आई थिंक ट्यूकल स्टिक्स टू प्रैग्मेटिक फुटबॉल. मेरे को ये लगता है, पर रोनित भाई मैं ये भी कहूंगा कि चेल्सी के पास अटैकिंग प्लेयर्स है भी कौन से कि वो अच्छी फुटबॉल खिलाई. आई थिंक रोनित भाई मैं ये कहूंगा, आपको अगर अटैकिंग फुटबॉल खेलनी है, यू हैव टू प्ले बैक फोर. If you want to play attacking football, you have to play back four. And अगर आपको back four खिलानी है, then you have to play Rice और DM. Chelsea के पास DM भी नहीं है natural. आपको attackers भी खिलाने होते हैं जो guarantee करे output. And Chelsea have attackers who do not guarantee output. Chelsea have players who are happy with 2 goals, 3 goals, 5 goals, 6 goals, 7 goals, 10 goals. Mason Mount was one of our highest scorer, and that's the biggest concern for Chelsea. And here is Jitin Bhai in the chat. People do go to Insane Football Talks. Name is here in the you can see in the chat. Go to Jitin Bhai channel, subscribe, great channel, and Jitin Bhai is a fantastic football fan, Barcelona fan. Please go there and subscribe. Fantastic content, and do subscribe to Jitin Bhai's channel. And Chelsea should play rock on rock roll football, sir, but we cannot play that football because sadly we haven't got the facility for that. हमारे पास वैसी facility ही नहीं है. And if Chelsea start playing this football, I can guarantee you that Chelsea will struggle. हम डिफेंसिवली बहुत कॉटर्ड हो जाएगी, क्योंकि हमें ये भी रिमेंबर करना पड़ेगा दैट चेल्सी हैव अ 38-year-old थियागो सिल्वा ऑन द बुक्स. चेल्सी हैव अ कूलीबाले ऑन द बुक्स. चेल्सी के पास अभी भी स्क्वाड ऐसा है, एस्पिक्रेटा ऑन द बुक्स. ऐसा स्क्वाड है हमारा चेल्सी का अभी, जो शायद इतना क्विक नहीं है. द प्लेयर्स माइट नॉट गेट बैक इन द पोजीशन, प्लेयर्स शायद टैकल ना मार पाए, प्लेयर्स माइट नॉट बी क्विक, एंड दिस इज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम फॉर चेल्सी. आई विल टेल द चैट, एंड दिस इज व्हाई आई डू से दैट चेल्सी नीड to continue playing the back three rather than going towards the back four. That's very, very important for Chelsea, in my opinion. Now I take you back to the Everton news. And Everton की injury news, अगर आप सब अपनी स्क्रीन पे देखोगे, if you can watch on a screen, Andrews Townsend out होगा इस गेम का, Calvert-Lewin out होगा इस गेम का, Coleman and Begovic. तो Everton की injury concerns का मुझे यही लगता है कि Chelsea can be favored because Calvert-Lewin एक बहुत बड़ी threat था, and because Dominic Calvert-Lewin is out for this game, I think Chelsea have got a very, very good chance to get a result against Everton. If you cannot beat Everton, who are without Seamus Coleman, who are without Andrews Townsend, who are without Asmi Begovic, who are without their main players, I think we do not deserve to even be in the top four. We need to beat Everton for me. An Everton team that's not had a good preseason, Everton team that's really struggling financially for me this year. They're not signing players for big prices. And I think Chelsea should be the one that should take big, big advantage of Everton. And here is another chat from Ronit Bhai, because that's the only way they can catch City and Liverpool. Sir, I agree. मैं बिल्कुल agree करता हूँ, but Chelsea do need to send better attackers, and this all cannot happen in one window. हमारी already spending अब तक अगर हम target देखें, कुकुरेला अगर confirm हो जाए, Chelsea spending will go towards a region of 135 to 140 million. And ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम 250 spend कर लेंगे, 240 spend कर लेंगे. Side को अभी भी बहुत rebuild चाहिए, and therefore I don't think Chelsea can spend a lot of money. And this is why I think the thing that Chelsea are doing at the moment is fine. And going on towards more news here. And now going on to Chelsea arrivals, I'm going back slide by slide so people who have missed these things do not miss these things. And Chelsea at the moment, we all know Koulibaly and Sterling have signed for Chelsea, and Cucurella is not confirmed. Slonina is a young goalkeeper Chelsea have signed. Chukwuemeka, he's a player, that young player Chelsea have signed as well. And for a surprise, he's going to be part of the first team, and he's not a young player who's going to go on loan. The departures for Chelsea, if you see on the screen, are Anders Christensen, Lukaku, Rudiger, James Cumming, Colwill, Sarr, Alonso, Azpilicueta, Ziyech, and Werner. And if you go towards the slide 6, you will see the Everton players that come here. And for me, Everton have had not a good window, not a bad window. McNeil is a good option to play on the wings and at the left wing back. I think Tarkowski is a good addition to the defense. I think Vinagre is a good attacking left wing back. And for me, but they've not been able to replace Richarlison. They've not been able to replace even John Chukeni, because a young Nathan Patterson has to play instead of Seamus Coleman. And therefore, for me, Everton at the moment are big trouble, and the transfer window for them has been iffy. They haven't taken much risk, they haven't spent much, and if they do not start the season well, they are a bit of contenders to be in a relegation fight next season. And Danish by with the chat here, I think if Chelsea match United's bid for Frankie de Jong, they will get him. Also, this will be more of a statement signing as Chelsea lost target place for Barcelona and getting top priority Premier League player to a Premier League rival. And Danish bhai, I will also say here that Chelsea at the moment have a big lead over Manchester United, and we have two things that United don't have. First of all, I think everyone knows that Champions League football. Chelsea have Champions League football that sadly United don't have. But the second most important thing that Chelsea have over United is Chelsea can offer Barcelona two players. We can offer Barcelona the likes of Azpilicueta, the likes of Alonso. And there are also rumors coming that Chelsea are very interested in signing Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So a lot of things are falling into leaf for Chelsea. And now going on towards the news for today. And today, everybody, we all knew that Todd Boehly confirmed that Chukwuemeka has been signed for the first team. And along with that, we saw that Chukwuemeka signing has been confirmed by Chelsea. We also saw that Chelsea have submitted an 60 million proposal for Wesley Fofana. But the only problem with Chelsea at the moment, everyone, is they want 80 million. Now, can Chelsea pay 80 million or not? That's a big concern for us. And yes, sir, Dele Alli will play as a striker. I can show you on a screen also. I think for me, sir, as much as I've watched Everton pre-season, Everton are going to play Dele Alli as a striker. I think Rondon is not going to be a player that's going to play as a striker. And for me, Everton are going to play like this. They're going to play Ali, who is going to make the good movements. They are going to play Gordon. They are going to play Demarai Gray. And for me, they're going to play Mykolenko. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry. I was not able to see that. I apologize for that. And if you see here at the moment, Everton are going to play Dele Alli, if you see. Because Dele Alli is a player who can make very good movements. And the thing with Dele Alli at the moment is that Dele Alli has always done well against Chelsea. He always makes the run in behind. He always gets behind defenders. Now people will say that Dele Alli has lost a lot of his talent. Dele Alli is not the player he used to be. But for me, I will say one thing. Dele Alli is still one of the most clever players you will see in the world. He's a player who can make the pressing movements. He's a player who can disturb Thiago Silva, Koulibaly. You have to remember that Chelsea have a bit of slow defense. If Aspi plays, if Koulibaly plays, if Silva plays. And therefore, Dele Alli might be a better option for me as compared to the option we can say in form of Rondon. For me, if I've given option of playing Rondon or Dele Alli, I'll pick Dele Alli any day of the week over Rondon. And now going on towards the news that I was discussing about. And going towards the news. And for at the moment, going on towards Chelsea news here. And Fofana, we all know, has been really close to signing for Chelsea. He has done everything possible he can do to sign for Chelsea. He has really removed Leicester from his bio. He has also been putting cryptic Instagram messages. He has also tried his best to sign for Chelsea. But the only problem with Fofana is that Leicester City want 80 million. But I do want to tell people as well that as much as Leicester are going to budge on this deal, as much as Leicester are going to cause a lot of problems, as much as Leicester might show a lot of arrogance, Leicester do need money. They do need a lot of money, in my opinion. Leicester do need a lot of money, and they need a lot of money because they've not able even signed one player. They've not even signed one player. James Maddison has been linked to Newcastle. Yuri Tielemans has been linked to Arsenal and United. And also you can say that Fofana has been linked to Chelsea. Now, in a right world, you do not expect Leicester to sell Maddison, Fofana and Tielemans in one window. So most probably one player will be allowed to leave. So Chelsea also need Maddison move to fall off, or otherwise Chelsea will lose the deal to Fofana. For me, that's the biggest part for Chelsea here, that we will lose the deal to sign Fofana if Maddison signs for Newcastle. Along with that, we also have to remember that Yuri Tielemans deal must not also be agreed, because Yuri Tielemans might be signing for Arsenal for 40 million, especially if the controversial things that are going around does not go in their favor. And overall, Thomas Partey is also injury prone as well. And therefore, Arsenal might sign Yuri Tielemans as well. United is also a team where Yuri Tielemans might go. With Frankie de Jong at the moment, Chelsea are really going for Frankie de Jong. I think you should not be surprised that Yuri Tielemans might just go to Manchester United as well. So at the moment, Leicester City do need money, and they're holding out for 70 to 80 million. But if they do not get the right offer for Maddison, they do not get the right offer for Yuri Tielemans, I think they're going to sell to Chelsea Fofana for 70 million. But it's about how much quickly we get the deal done, or we go for a big problem. And Danish Bhai is with a question. Do you see Sesko joining United? I think Sesko is also linked with Chelsea, Danish Bhai. But for me, Danish Bhai, if Frankie de Jong move falls, I'm telling you, Danish Bhai, if Frankie de Jong move falls, do see United signing both Anthony and Sesko. So I won't be surprised that if the deal for Frankie de Jong falls off, all that money goes in to sign Sesko and Anthony. And shall I go for Dele Alli for my FPL team? For me, I will say no. I think as much as if you do well against Chelsea, I think Everton are going to play defensive. It's going to be either a 1-0 Everton victory or a 1-1 draw or a Chelsea thrashing. For me, Everton are not going to score more than 1 or 2 goals in this game. And for me, for Everton, if I will tell everyone who's watching, go for Gordon. Gordon is a must-buy player from Everton rather than Dele Alli. For me, Dele Alli, there's no guarantee he's going to score a goal. There's no guarantee Everton are going to score a goal. But Gordon might provide a clean sheet because he's the midfielder. And Gordon might also provide assists in this game. So therefore, for me, Gordon might be a better choice to go for as compared to Dele Alli. But I do see Dele Alli starting as a striker, and Dele Alli can really surprise Chelsea and in a bad way. Now going on to another news that came out today, and this news is about Cucurella. So Cucurella deal, everyone will say, and I want to talk about it a bit. So Cucurella has been a player whose rumors have come to Chelsea, and Chelsea have been heavily linked with Cucurella. So you can see on the screens that Chelsea, and at the moment the deal is not at the moment closed as per Athletic. Now I will be very real with you all. No holds bar, absolutely real. Cucurella is coming to Chelsea if Colwill deal goes through. These are all the tactics. Now you all know that Brighton came out with a statement yesterday on their Twitter account that the journalists reporting all this stuff are wrong and Cucurella is still our player. You all remember that Brighton admin posted that, and a lot of people have been doubting Fabrizio Romano's credentials. I will say one thing, Cucurella to Chelsea is done. This is more of a tactic because Colwill is a player that depends a lot on this deal. Now, Brighton at the moment, they want Colwill to be part of the deal and they do not want Chelsea to put a buyback clause in Colwill. Chelsea at the moment, they are saying that we'll pay us 20 million for Colwill and put a buyback clause of 40 million. Now, you all remember that Brighton have sold Ben White for big money. Brighton have sold Cucurella for big money. Brighton makes some big money on their players. And Brighton are a bit scared that if Colwill, a bit of you can say in Colwill, the buyback clause is put, there a bit of power in the negotiation will be gone. That's the biggest concern is the deal for Brighton. So Brighton at the moment want to sign Colwill without a buyback clause. Chelsea want to sell Colwill with a buyback clause. And that's the only way Cucurella deal can fall. Cucurella most probably 99% will be a Chelsea player. And whenever Fabrizio Romano says, here we go, I've never seen in my life where Fabrizio has been proven wrong. 100 people in the chat remind me. For me, I can never remember in my life where Fabrizio Romano has proved to be wrong. So for me, do not be afraid. Do not listen to every reports. Believe in your heart that Cucurella will come to Chelsea. The only way Cucurella does not come to Chelsea if his Colwill rejects Brighton. That's the only way for me this deal will fall off. If Colwill says, I don't want to go to Brighton, I want to go to Leicester. Because if Fofana goes, the direct replacement for him could be Colwill, then Leicester might try to sign. Because Leicester always go for the younger players, develop them, then sell them for big money. That's the strategy of Leicester. And that's the way Leicester have always proceeded in this game. So that's the way Leicester have always done the job. And the only way the deal for Cucurella falls off is if Colwill says, I don't want to go to Brighton. That's the only way this deal falls off. I also want to touch a bit on Frankie de Jong and Frankie de Jong closing in on Chelsea. Now, Frankie de Jong deal is very, very interesting, people. And Frankie de Jong deal is, for me, one of the most interesting part of the transfer window because this affects a lot of clubs. Frankie de Jong, if he signs for Chelsea or United, will give the money towards Barcelona to sign Bernardo Silva. If Bernardo Silva is signed, City will have to find a replacement, and that suddenly makes Liverpool the title contenders. Then suddenly they will have to go in the market to find replacement for Bernardo Silva, and a lot of clubs will try to loot City, saying, you've got 60, 70 million, pay us the money. And City could be in big trouble if Bernardo Silva goes to Bayern. Liverpool could be in absolute joy because Bernardo Silva going might give Liverpool the chance to close the gap to City. And if De Jong signs for United, then Erik ten Hag will be happy. All the negativity at the club will go away. United will get their dream midfielder. If he goes to Chelsea, Chelsea will have a dream midfield of De Jong, Jorginho, Kante, Kovacic, the best options you can have in midfield in the world. While United will have a lot of torture, problems, a bit of problem with the board. There will be a lot of negativity as well. So this deal depends on a lot of clubs. It also will help Barcelona to get a bit of money to be able to register players. And I'm not saying in a joking way. I'm saying in a real way. They do need money to sell players. And Depay is a player who's not getting offers right now. And Martin Braithwaite has said that he will only leave once he gets a proper offer. And Martin Braithwaite is not ready to take any wage cut. So Barcelona are also in a bit of trouble, and De Jong deal helps them a lot. Now, do I want Frankie De Jong? For me, he's a good player. He's a good player who can be a very good option. Now, people, I'm getting a bit of future side. Are Chelsea looking to sign De Jong this window, and Chelsea are also looking to sign Declan Rice next window? What is the strategy behind that? Or are we trying to keep Jorginho Kante, keep Kovacic, get De Jong, and have one of the 4 best midfield in the world, one of the good midfielders, able to rotate them one by one, and that's one of the best midfield in the world. Because people who are watching the show right now, Kante has 1 year left on his contract. Jorginho has 1 year left on his contract. Jorginho is around 30 years of age. Kante is around 31 years of age. And both of them have got 1 year left on the contract. So, if Chelsea are signing De Jong, then does that mean that one of Jorginho or Kante are leaving this window? Because for me, Chelsea will not sell Jorginho and Kante for free. We will not let Jorginho and Kante go for free at the end of the season. So either Jorginho or Kante are leaving and we are signing De Jong as a replacement. Or in private, we have agreed a deal to extend the contract of Jorginho and Kante, and we are signing De Jong to have a good backups, to have a great midfield fight, and De Jong, Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante could be the dream 4 midfield any team in the world needs. Or are Chelsea preparing for the future where we are trying to extend the contract of Kante, Jorginho, but if they don't agree, we are trying to build to the future with De Jong right now, and when Declan Rice next year becomes available for 60 to 65 million, we might even try to get him. So at the moment, this deal is very, very unclear. What's the Chelsea motive? But for me, I want to tell you people one thing. Thomas Tuchel loves Frankie De Jong. Thomas Tuchel loves Frankie De Jong to absolute bits. He admires Frankie De Jong, and if you remember, Frankie De Jong agent said this thing as well. I will again quote you all. Frankie De Jong agent quoted this, that Thomas Tuchel was literally in tears when Frankie De Jong rejected PSG. Literally, he was in tears when they were rejected. When PSG were rejected for Barcelona, Thomas Tuchel was in literally tears. And De Jong is a player that Thomas Tuchel has always admired. And if we get Frankie De Jong, that means we are backing the manager. If we get Frankie De Jong, that means we're backing Thomas Tuchel to do good things for Chelsea. That's a big, big part of the deal, that if Chelsea sign Frankie De Jong, it shows a leap of trust that Chelsea are putting in Thomas Tuchel. And also this means that Chelsea are really making the defense stronger this year, and the attack will be improved as years go by. If you have Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, De Jong, Fofana, Koulibaly in the defense with Thiago Silva, and then you have, let's say we sign one more defender, and Cucurella comes in, Chilwell comes in, Kyle Walker-Peters comes in, Reece James is there. I think that's a fantastic window for Chelsea, and that means that Chelsea will be defensively very, very hard to beat. So for me, again, on final note to De Jong, I'm very confused the reason we want him. Do we want him to make a great midfield, make a great, you can say, backups, or you can say create a good competition between the midfielders? Or are we signing Frankie De Jong for the future? Or are we signing Frankie De Jong so that we are afraid that Jorginho Kante might leave this window? And now going on a bit of talk on Kyle Walker-Peters as well. So it was reported that this deal could be agreed for 25-30 million. Now a bit of problem that's coming for Chelsea for me is Dumfries. Dumfries is going to cost Chelsea 30, 35 to 40 million, and Inter want 50. I again repeat, Inter want 50 million for Denzel Dumfries, and Kyle Walker-Peters is going to cost Chelsea 25 to 30 million pounds. So he could be a very good backup to Reece James. He's attacking as well and really suits the formation 3-4-3. And this is the deal Chelsea are after. If you see properly what Chelsea are trying to do, they want to have Reece James and Kyle Walker-Peters for right wing back, Cucurella and Chilwell for left wing back, with Cucurella who can play at left centre back as well. Chelsea also want to have Fofana, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, Chalobah, and we might even try to sign one more defender, or Cucurella might also be used as a left centre back. And then Chelsea will have a bit in the middle where we are trying to build Jorginho, Kante, Frankie De Jong, Kovacic. And then the attacking team remains the same. We are defensively strong. We go very heavily in the Champions League. We also be very tough to beat in the league. And we concentrate more on defense than attack. I also want to say to you people one thing, that Thomas Tuchel last year in his post-match conference of some match said, I prefer clean sheets. He said Chelsea prefer clean sheets. And Thomas Tuchel, when he signed for Chelsea, he said one thing. I want to make Chelsea a team that nobody wants to come against. And if Sir Alex Ferguson, if you remember, one of the best managers in current era, Sir Alex Ferguson made it clear, defense wins you title, attacks win you game. And I think that's what Chelsea are trying to build. And on the final note, I'm going to end it with Everton Game Week 1 thoughts and my final prediction for this game. People, do please subscribe to the channel. Please like the channel. Please help the channel to grow. Please keep helping me, guys. You are the people I make this content for, and I hope you're enjoying it. If you have any problem, do put a feedback in. Do keep helping me. Now, guys, I do want to ask you to put your prediction in the live chat of Everton game. Now, just wanted to show you a bit of Everton lineup. Guys, any people that makes fantasy teams, for any people that wants to make prediction for the Everton game, this is going to be the likely lineup for the Everton game. And Everton have these injury problems. To just show you all, Townsend is going to be out, Calvert-Lewin, Coleman, and Begovic. And this is going to be their most likely lineup. Pickford, Godfrey, Tarkowski, Keane, Pedersen, Doucouré, Iwobi, Michaelenko, Gray, Ali, Gordon. So Dele Alli is going to play as a striker, and then Iwobi is going to play in the midfield, and the new signing Tarkowski is going to play. While for Chelsea, this is going to be the Chelsea likely lineup with Mendy, Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, James, Jorginho, Kante, Alonso, Mount, Sterling, Havertz. So this is going to be the most likely Chelsea lineup in this game. And also coming to Danish Bhai, who has put his prediction here, he says that Chelsea is going to win 2-1. And I think Danish Bhai is going to be a very, very tough game to predict. Please, people, do put your prediction in the chat below. And let's have a bit of discussion here. What do you think? Do you see Everton winning? Do you see draw? Do you see a 0-0? Or do you see Chelsea absolutely smashing the heck out of Everton? And this is going to be the most likely Chelsea lineup for the Everton game in this game. And also, for people who are going to be making fantasy teams, and for people who are also be making prediction of this game, just see this thing of Chelsea against Everton at Goodison Park. So before you make fantasy teams, before you make your predictions, do see this record of Chelsea at Goodison Park. We have just won 3 games out of our last 10 matches at Goodison Park, where we have drawn 1, we have lost 6, and we have won 3. And also just see here, you will see here that Chelsea have lost 1. Apologies, guys. I'm so sorry. Chelsea have lost 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in a row games. 5. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Chelsea have lost 4 games in a row against Everton in the last some seasons. 4 seasons in a row, Chelsea have lost to Everton. 1-0, 1-0, 3-1, 2-0, 0-0. So do remember that before making your fantasy teams, because Chelsea are ridiculously bad when it comes to traveling to Goodison Park. We are a very bad team when it comes to playing Everton, and Everton is a team that Chelsea never like to play. Now, on my final thoughts towards the Everton game, I would just want to say one thing to people in the live chat, that is going to be a hard game. Now, Frank Lampard team this season will be a bit of trouble because they don't have the money like the previous Everton side used to have. The previous Everton side used to make big spendings, 50 million, 40 million. Everton at the moment have not got a lot of money. They lost Richarlison for 60 million. They have only signed Dwight McNeil, who cost them 20 million. They have signed Tarkowski for free. They have signed Ruben Vinagre for free. So you can say that Everton at the moment have positive net spend balance. They literally are in minus. And therefore, Everton have not done well this window when it comes to signing players. They've only gone for proven Premier League players. Ruben Vinagre, who played for Wolves. McNeil, who played well for Burnley. And they've also gone for players like, you can say, Tarkowski, who are proven players for a club like Burnley. That's the signing Everton have gone in. And at the moment, Frank Lampard in his whole preseason has played a shape of 3-4-3. Now, if people remember the last time we played Frank Lampard, the last time we played Everton, Everton beat us 1-0. If you remember that game very well, people, you will remember that Everton parked the bus. They played deep. They took Chelsea's attack and they countered. They got that lucky goal because of Cesar Azpilicueta mistake where Richarlison scored. But Everton plan was very clear. Sit back, defend, and counter. They're not going to do anything different. They have Townsend injured, Calvert-Lewin injured, Seamus Coleman injured. They have no choice but to play defensively. And that's the only way Everton will be safe against Chelsea. So Everton are going to match Chelsea with a 3-4-3. And Everton are going to play 5 at the back. And overall, I will also tell you one thing, that Doucouré and Iwobi will be in the midfield as well. So that could be a position Chelsea could target. And Everton will have a lot of pace when it comes to their front 3. Gordon will be pacey. Dele Alli will be pacey. Dele Alli will make a good moments. You can say Demarai Gray will be very concerning. And we all know that Iwobi from midfield has a lot of pace to disturb defenders. That's the only threat that Everton have. While for Chelsea, we need to be defensively strong. We do not need to make a lot of mistakes. And I think Sterling, Koulibaly, I think is going to be a great debut for them. I think Sterling could be a player that might help us beat these teams who park the bus against us. While Koulibaly is a very good replacement for Rudiger and even might just be better. You never know about that. The concern for Chelsea that comes in this game that I even showed you here is Azpilicueta. The biggest concern for Chelsea is that we have got Azpilicueta here and Alonso here. Now, the problem for Chelsea here, people, is that these are the two players that want to go to Barcelona. Now, Azpilicueta is a very, very loyal servant towards Chelsea, but Azpilicueta is also very old as well. If you have Azpilicueta and Thiago Silva in the same defense, you will not be able to handle pace. And players like Gordon, players like Iwobi, players like Demarai Gray, players like Dele Alli are going to cause a lot of problems for Thiago Silva and Azpilicueta. And I think that could be a massive concern for Chelsea. While Trevor Chalobah this whole preseason has made some massive mistakes. And this is one position where Chelsea have been weak whole season. And this is one position that people, I will tell you, that Chelsea do have to improve upon, or we are a bit of trouble. Attackingly, we need Mount Sterling Havertz to fire, especially in the first games. And we need Havertz to start the season well, at least be 60% consistent, or we have no chance this season to achieve something big. The midfield for me is going to be the big part, Jorginho and Kante. Last year, Frank Lampard really put a lot of players, put a lot of pressure on Jorginho. And that's going to be the tactic of every manager. They're going to go heavily on Jorginho, put a Doucouré, put a Iwobi on him. And Kante could be a big factor to decide this game. Overall, for me, Everton injuries, Seamus Coleman, Calvert-Lewin, Chelsea replacing Rudiger with Koulibaly, and also having a Sterling. For me, this evens out the difference, and Chelsea again are a better team. For me, the weakness for Chelsea is Cesar Azpilicueta and Alonso side, and Cesar Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva versus Gordon, Gray, and Dele Alli. And I'm a bit concerned for Alonso, where players like Iwobi, Gordon can target him. That's a weak point for Chelsea. While Everton have a lot of weak points, they have a young right back, wing back in Nathan Patterson. They also have Iwobi playing in the midfield. They will also have Dele Alli playing as a striker. We don't know how he's going to play. And then they are also going to have some problems in defense, where Godfrey is very inconsistent, Tarkowski is consistent, and then you have got Michael Keane, who is one of the most, you can say, tipsy-turvy player you'll see. He can play well, then be one of the worst defender you'll see. So Everton have some concerns as well, and I think Chelsea concerns are much lesser than Everton, even if a lot of players are going to leave. And by World Cup jab hoga, Premier League chalega saath, I think no, Premier League will be suspended. Premier League will be suspended from November 9 to 10 and will come back on the Boxing Day on December 26. So on final note, people, please do put in your prediction, guys, of Everton match versus Chelsea. Just going to end the video on this. For me, Chelsea are winning this game, and I think they're keeping a clean sheet. For me, it's going to be Everton 0, and it's going to be Chelsea 1 with a goal from Kai Havertz. It's going to be a very tricky game. Chelsea are going to struggle. Everton are going to be playing 5 at the back, but we will find that goal. The whole match will be nervy. We'll be scared. And overall, but I do believe Chelsea will get that goal. We'll get the 1-0 victory. We'll survive defensively and we'll win this game 1-0 in my opinion. And I do not see a lot of goals, but I do see us keeping a clean sheet and at least starting a good season on a good note. And taking a bit more predictions here by the people, Gaurav Bhai says 1-1 lag raha hai mujhe. I'm not surprised, Gaurav Bhai. 1-1 bhi ho sakta hai. But for me, people, I will say it's going to be Everton 0, Chelsea 1, and Chelsea are going to start the season well. While I'm also going to say that Cucurella deal he's got to sign for Chelsea until Colwill rejects Brighton. Fofana is very close to Chelsea as well, and we do need to just pay the extra 10 million. And other than that, Chukwuemeka has been confirmed as a Chelsea player, and overall, Jong deal is also going on, and a lot more news will be covered up by me daily. Every time between 7 to 8, I'm going to start this show. Do join, do like the content, do subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button, and you will get all the information regarding the videos I'm going to come with. Please, people, do support the channel. Thank you all, and I hope you all have a great day. Do enjoy your day. Thank you so much, everyone, for supporting me. I think Chelsea are going to beat Everton. This was my preview for the match. And here, Will Cash for good. I think absolutely. Matty Cash is going to be a great player, sir. Do go for Matty Cash. And Will Cash for good for Game Week 1 for EPL. I think absolutely. I think Matty Cash is going to be one of the most amazing players in this game. And Matty Cash is a player you should all go for me in regards to FPL. I think players like Matty Cash, players you can say like Kyle Walker-Peters, players you can say like Renato Sanchez. These are the players who must go in FPL cheap and helps you keep some balance to sign more bigger players. So on that note, Chelsea are beating Everton. People, do like the content, subscribe the content. A lot more content is coming up. Everton-Chelsea post-match, Premier League prediction, Game Week 1, short videos, FPL videos, live videos every day, 7 p.m. Please do subscribe to the channel, support the channel. Thank you, everyone, and hope you have a great day. Thank you.